Hey there, welcome back folks. In this lesson, I want to talk about and continue our discussion about the factory method pattern. So just to recap, if you haven't seen the previous lesson, go ahead and look for it in the playlist. And what we did last time was we had a base class here, iGame object, and the goal was to use inheritance-based polymorphism to create some other objects like a plane or a boat, and then just have a single place where we create all of our objects. We're able to use some enum here to define what those types were, or at least make it easy as a parameter for our factory method to make sure that we create the right type. And that is done here. Now, what I want to extend into our design is just a simple addition that can start adding a little bit more power to our factory. And that is going to be to actually wrap this into a singleton class. Now, we could do this as just a regular class, or perhaps we do truly just want one point of creation. That's something I'll leave for you to decide. Again, singletons, some people can think very poorly of them, so you'll just have to decide what the right design is. And again, there's many different alterations we can do. But the point of what I want to show is we can get more power out of our factory method if we start wrapping and adding a little bit of abstraction. The type of power that I want to add is the ability to count, essentially, how many of each of these objects that we've created in our game. That could be useful, for instance, for more data-driven applications if you want to figure out that only 50 planes or exactly 25 boats are always created in a particular instance of whatever this game or application is. And then you may be able to use that to your advantage and reallocate some of these resources, or do more interesting things in tune to your needs. So with that said, though, let's go ahead and just start sketching out this class. So now I'm going to just have a class here, and I'm just going to call it factory, and for game objects. So something like that is reasonable. I'm going to go ahead and move this method into our factory here. And this is going to be publicly accessible. And if I do want to go with the singleton pattern, just as a reminder of how to do that, let's go ahead and make our constructor private here. So I'll make factory game objects private here. So essentially, we can't call the constructor. Likewise, we could also do the destructor private, since there'll be no need to destruct this. And you might even want to go a few levels further and make sure that we don't have a copy constructor. So let's go ahead and, let me make sure I get the destructor right here. Factory game objects. And for a copy constructor, you'd also have factory game objects, and then pass in some reference to this type here, factory game object, O, and just have that defined here. Okay, so that could be one way to avoid these from explicitly being called. You could also delete these member functions if you want. Those are some different ways to do this in C++. But the key thing that we want to do, though, is make sure that we make this a static member function here. That way, all instances of this class, which we're just going to have exactly one of, would be able to call this make game object factory. So strategically, I'm going to go ahead and also rename this just to create object. And this is sort of our creator function. We'll still have the same types here as well. Okay, and we should probably also try this out and compile it and just make sure that it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and hide these two lines here. This is from our old code. And let's go ahead and try to access our function here, our member function to create objects. Now, how am I going to do this? Well, I need to do this through the class here, factory game object. So let's go ahead and do that. Factory game objects, : and we have create object, and the type here, object type plane, all in capitals. Okay, and this would return some shared pointer here, an iGame object. Okay, my object. We'll just repeat the previous here. Now let me go ahead and try to build this and see what happens. We'll use C++17. And we have, well, forbids declaration of factory game objects here. This is in my constructor here, or copy constructor. I've just misplaced the ampersand. And I can go ahead and run this, and no problems here. So now that we have our factory working, then we can start to count our objects. Now, one thing I will mention here, since I've done this quickly on the singleton, there are different ways to do the singleton. So again, you can review my video. For instance, you may want to have or create some sort of get instance member function and actually allocate one factory game object if you like. Again, you can add some more power to this. But our overall goal is going to be to count each of these objects that are created. So that means I'm going to add a little bit more power here. And I'm going to have a function here called PrintCounts and some private member variables here for the actual counts here. So I'm just going to have these as static counts here for planes and boats here. And I like to prefix this with a s underscore just to indicate that this is a static variable that's part of this class. Okay, now since I have these static variables, I'm going to need to initialize those somewhere in my class to a value of 0. This is part of the, again, factory game objects, s plane, and I'll set that equal to 0 here. So let's go ahead and repeat that. And this is boats here. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to compile. No problems there. And now we can actually, every time we call our factory function here, I'm going to go ahead and just increment this value here. splane plus plus. And I'll do the same for our boats. sboats plus plus, and so on. And for our PrintCounts function, let's go ahead and just test this out here. And go ahead and have planes, and output the planes value here, and an end line. And boats, and again, boats. And I'll just line up everything here. And let's go ahead and use our factory to create some objects here. Let's create, how about 1 plane and 2 boats. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it like so. And then through our factory game objects, let's go ahead and get the count here. Again, this is a static void function here, so I could just call PrintCounts here. Okay, let's go ahead and recompile, see if we made any mistakes. Cout, I have not included. So that's part of the IO stream library for this example. I'll rebuild, rerun, and like so, you can see that throughout the duration of this program, we've created 1 plane and 2 boats. Now, let's go ahead and look at this code here, and again, think about what's going on here. Because every time that we've done the actual allocation here of our planes, we have this count here. Now, one of the things you might be wondering is, how can we figure out how many active objects there are? And that's where things get a little bit trickier here. So this does a pretty good job of telling us how many planes and boats, for instance, that we've actually created at a given time. So, or rather throughout the duration of the program. But since we have shared pointers here for each of these objects, we don't really have a great way to tell if this object has been deleted. So what we can either do is check this particular object to see if it's at null at some point, and then reduce our count. That is, do both minus minus or planes minus minus here. That would be one way that we could approach it. If we otherwise would want to be able to dynamically get rid of this, we probably want to use some other structure here, meaning that perhaps we could use an adapter to wrap this shared pointer and call it, Mike's shared pointer, and have it actually, as part of the constructor or the destructor, do the increment for this particular data type. That again would be one option. So just to give a brief idea of what that would be, I would have, let me go ahead and create another type here, class, and I'll call it Mike's counted smart pointer. It's probably a terrible name for this, but gets the idea across. And instead, I would wrap this shared pointer here. And let me go ahead and add this here. So this would be the actual thing that we're wrapping. And then, of course, this is wrapping another pointer. And on the constructor, again, let me just sketch it out here again. Just going to call this the pointer. And this would be public. You'd put this private. And then in the actual constructor here, you could take in, again, the object type and the type here, and have the destructor as well. And it would be within the actual constructor and the destructor where you would do S++ if this type is a plain, or perhaps you pass this in as a parameter. But it is something that we do have to think about, this idea here of if you want to dynamically get these counts and tracking those pointers, or perhaps, so that would be sort of a object adapter strategy where you're wrapping and returning some other different pointer type that can do some sort of dynamic bookkeeping, or you can just have this sort of increment strategy, which is fine. Or if you're using smart raw pointers, then you can push that task to the actual client. Again, is probably a little bit risky, but if you're doing this sort of bookkeeping, maybe that's something that you can take care of. The other option is to also keep this functionality all in the factory game objects class here, and basically create another pointer, say a weak pointer to this shared pointer, and at a given time, iterate through all of your objects that have been created and see if they are null. You could have a list of weak pointers to do that a little bit more cheap. So that's the idea here. The main idea that I want to show, though, is that you can add some more power. You can start adding member functions to your factory. It doesn't have to just be a standalone method here. And once you start doing this, then you have some interesting design decisions that you otherwise have to make as a result of this. But they could add a lot of power to your application, help you do some interesting bookkeeping and so on. So I hope this is an interesting lesson for you. The code will be available. You can see that this is a working example here of creating our factories, which are now part of a singleton class here. And if you've enjoyed this and want to see some more design patterns, go ahead and like and subscribe, and there will certainly be more come in the future. All right, take care, folks, and stay well.